everybody, and welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk, and this, my friends, is the Thunder Show, aka the internet's most passionate program. And today we are going to be talking about white wine because I think white wine gets overlooked sometimes as serious wine in the threshold of the overall wine picture. It disappoints me to hear when people are like, "Oh, Gary, I'm getting serious. I'm into red wine now." Insanity. That's like saying, "Oh, I'm getting serious about eating. I'm into sushi now." There are so many amazing white wines out there, and today I figured that we could focus a little bit on Gruner Veltliner, or Groovy, which is a very interesting white wine varietal from Austria, also found pretty widely in the Czech Republic, Mott, and everybody else watching, though not a lot of those get out into the U.S., and really like nowhere else in the world. So a very interesting grape varietal that is extremely food-friendly and has exploded on the East Coast and West Coast scene. Not a lot of distribution of Gruner Veltliner in Middle America. Hopefully we'll see that change over time, but we've got two very exciting Gruners on the show today. And then we have one very interesting white wine blend from South Africa that rolls in deep, 50 bones up in this piece. So an expensive bottle of white wine that I'm dying to try. I've heard a lot about. Obviously this last weekend was the NFL draft. I'm not going to blah blah. I'm really into the wines today. I got a real laser focus, kind of like the laser acidity that the Gruner Veltliners bring. So if you want to check out what I was doing this weekend, we got lucky to get a little camera time. So Mott, link it up. We'll have some links below. Scroll down. Please do that. We're going to get right into the vino because I'm excited about this show. Great package, by the way. Anyway, this is the Bernhard Ott Gruner Veltliner 2006 Phosphor is what he calls it. Phosphor. It rolls in at 17 US dollars and 91 points by Peter Moser, who is reviewing for Stephen Tanger's International Wine Cellar. So 91 points, International Wine Cellar, Peter M. Reviews this and does the Austrian wines for Stephen. A good critic. I've agreed with a lot of his scores in the past. So a 91 pointer that rolls in at 17 bones is extremely exciting. What I find really interesting about Gruner is that it's 40% of all the production coming out of Austria. It's found in the northeast of Austria, along the Danube, and from that area, really northeast of the northeast part of the country, and it's west of Vienna during the Danube, and really interesting food-friendly wines, Mott. Just wines that have always appealed to me right from the get-go when they started really hitting the scenes 5 years ago. Very acidic, clean wines, but very focused and very serious, very heavy on the minerality, which I'm also very, very attracted to. Let's give this a whirl. Great, great color. Oh, did we pour a little out for the homies there by accident? Little sniffy sniff. Beautiful little peach flavor coming through right in the nose right away. I get a little bit of like buttered peaches. So there's a little bit of a butterness, not a California oaky buttery monster, but a slight butterness. Look at that, I can't believe it's not butter, like tss, the spray, you know? My voice is still a little affected from the draft. That's what happens. You gotta be careful. Very pretty nose. I'm also getting a little bit of a marshmallow component and a little bit of a lime spritzer. Peaches, marshmallows, lime spritzer, a little bit of butter on top, and that's what this smells like, my friends. Let's give it a whirl. This is ripping good. Tremendous minerality. Bluestone coming through. Gorgeous peach fuzz on the outside of this wine. Tremendous weight. Heavier than most Gruner Veltliners that I've come across. Groovy, as its nickname, is definitely a white varietal that is catching my attention. And wow, this one is really bringing the thunder. Is that pouring that hard? Is the camera picking it up?
No.
Zoom it out there, man. Let them see it. It is pouring. Cats and dogs, man. Cats and dogs.
This thing's not a thing.
That's all right. Come back. Anyway, I was thinking about going outside and doing a little rain episode. We would have got real caught. Anyway, this wine is bringing much more weight to the table than I'm used to or that I expected from this wine. So that is a pleasant occurrence. Again, fried shrimp and this pairing would be amazing. Gorgeous lemon zest, like a beautiful lemon and lime squeezed into a cup, with a cup full of like little rocks and stones and minerality. Very similar to 10 minutes. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I have a meeting, but we gotta finish the show. Oh wait. A really racy, zesty kind of wine. This is really good. I really hope that people go out and start seeking Gruners. If you're a Riesling fan, Sauvignon Blanc, White Bordeaux, just really appreciate white wines for what they are. This is a classic example, and maybe a little bit more food-friendly than the majority of those wines. There's just something about the clean minerality of these wines and the focus of its acidity in the mid-palate that really mesh well with food. I'm adoring this wine. I think Peter hit the nail on the head. I'm also going 91 points in this wine, and at 17 bones, to me, is an out-and-out steal. Flip that Paz around and call this a zap, because this is going to zap you in the happy zone that you're tasting this kind of wine for this price point. Peaches. Good wine. Let's move on. Oh, this wine I've been dying to try. I've been saving this for the show because I've heard nothing but insanity about this. Meinhard Forestier, Gruner Veltliner, 2006, the Tabor, $30 US, 94 points, Wine Spectator. That is a big score. One of the highest scored Gruner Veltliners I've ever seen from mainstream press. Kudos to Spectator stepping up and breaking the mold. 30 bones. Definitely not an inexpensive wine, but again, for a 94 pointer, let's see what this wine is bringing to the table. Let's give this wine a little bit of a sniffy sniff. This is a little bit smokier than the last wine. There's a little bit of a passion fruit thing going on the front end. Not as much minerality, blue stony kind of thing going on in the nose as the last one. I'm also noting a little bit of frizzante action in the bottle as I'm sniffing away. Let's give it a whirl. A little more intensity than the last wine. Great acidity on this wine. I'm also feeling a very heavy level of chalk. I'm trying to help here. A little level of chalk coming through on the mouthfeel, which is really good. Little unfocused on the back end, but all in all, a monstrous wine. Kind of like coming from the NFL draft this weekend. You saw a lot of things say raw talent. This wine has raw talent. It's a little bit unfocused in comparison to the Ott, which is interesting. It is a wine I think will come together strongly over time. There's an interesting like kitchen cleaning component on the back end of this wine. With lemon scented, right? Like floor like cleaner with lemon scented. Kind of a very interesting dynamic wine. Really not loving it by itself, but gosh, yearning now for a piece of cheese, and really I should have probably bought one, or some sort of meatiness, sausages or something of that nature. Let me just jump into it one more time. It's very good. Don't get me wrong. Maybe I'm disappointed by the hype. This is what always happens, right? Rarely do things live up. I mean, I've heard this is it. To me, it's not. As a matter of fact, to me, it's not even good as the last wine. As good, excuse me. I'm going to score the Meinhard 90 points. I'm going to say at 30 bones, there's other options. So, it's good, but it's far from a no-brainer. It is probably worth trying out, and under a different scenario with food, this could be a very special wine. I'm going to have to try that out for myself. I think maybe you should as well. But clearly, I'm just going to jump to the Bernhard Ott just to kind of fool around and see what's up. if you want to do a groovy run, you've got to find the Ott. Absolutely. Interesting. Okay. Finally, the Sadie family. They're not sad. The Sadie family, Palladius, 2006 white blend, 30% Chenin Blanc, 30% Viognier, 20% Chardonnay, and 20% Grenache Blanc. 92 points from the Wine Spectator, $50 US. Pricey for a blend of this nature. Normally these prices are reserved for white Bordeaux and Chardonnays, but here we see a Chenin Viognier Chard Grenache Blanc blend going into that price point. Really nice color, very golden in its attack. Let's go on a little bit aside here. We should give a big happy birthday to Lindsay from Kristen Murphy. Big happy birthday, and happy 38th to Selena Mott. 38, it's a good number. Happy birthday. And I also want to talk about, Mott linked this up. I can see over there we're almost out of secret packs. If you want to taste along with me, Mott, I'll link those two up. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch last Friday's show. We did the secret pack thing where you can taste along with me. Pretty cool on that. Anyway, oh, and this is hugely important. If you want to be part of my street team, please click over here. We're sending out a big email tomorrow for an announcement. On Wednesday, we're going to have a conference call. So if you want to be part of that, hook it up or link it up. Let's give this wine a sniffy sniff. This is wild. Wow. A very, very interesting nose to start things off on. Clearly a minty eucalyptus component starting off. Wow, this is really interesting. So I want to call this medicine cabinet meets pears, meets a grassiness component. This is a very exotic white wine on the nose. There's a smoky element to this wine as well. So I'm spilling all over myself. Let's give this a whirl. Very functified nose, very different. And to me, this is the passion that wine gets me so excited about. This is explore and expand. How many wines have I had in my life? Hundreds of thousands at this point, and I've never had anything that smelled quite like this. A wild blend, or scent blend, of eucalyptus, ricola candy, melted down, mint, graininess, and pears, and just wild. Really interesting. Let's give it a whirl. Warning, if you are not a fan of very serious, outside the box, highly acidic, completely complex, and see, I'm baffled by this one, thought-provoking white wines, please do not listen to the next 2-minute review. I'm going to tell you something right now. This wine is redonkulous. Complete explosion and palate takeover. This wine has come into my home and taken all my stuff while I watched, and I liked it. I mean, this wine completely coats the palate. Thank God this is the third wine. I was going to do 4. I'm not sure I would have been able to move on to the next wine. A massive coater of the palate, which would have affected the taste of the next wine. That's why I'm referring to that. Just gorgeous, bright yellow fruit, pears, papayas, lemons. I like to go the yellow fruit angle. Just really, really intense flavors. I get a little basil leaf action going on in here. Creaminess, vanilla, for days on the back end. Custard, whipped cream. Very creamy in its approach while being still fresh and fruity, and a nice solid balance between the fruit and the acidity. This is a monstrous white wine. Very much does remind me of some of the, like an imaginary blend of a Chateauneuf de Pop Blanc from, let's say, a great View Telegraph actually kind of reminds me of a little bit. White blend mixed with a classic Bordeaux, like a Malattrec Le Gras, or maybe even a Barnes Haut-Brion White Bordeaux, like an imaginary blend of white Bordeaux meets white Chateauneuf de Pape. That's what's going on in this wine, and it explodes for days. Oh, I like this wine a lot. I like how creamy it is. Then it gets really acidic, then it tails off, and it gets creamy again. Really fascinating. Like a creamy acidic burger. Cream, acidic. Let's go 93 points in this wine. This is extraordinary. But it's 50 bones. I get it. So this is not for everybody, but if you want to splurge for a white wine that will last for 10 years, and I truly, fundamentally believe this wine will easily last for the next decade and evolve and get funky and get wild and get... If you want to learn, this is like a $50 lesson that I think is worthwhile. An absolute eye-opener. Once again, pretty good shit. I mean, we've had some luck. These are pretty... I mean, all three wines went over 93. I mean, exciting. I mean, really fascinating. I got to be honest with you. This Meinhardt, I mean, this is like... Excuse me. I'm sorry. This Berhard Ott is a joke. Would I buy 3 of these instead of 1 of these? I probably would. But if I could afford it, I'd buy them both. I'm just so passionate about people trying different things. And this was even a good lesson for me. I've not been drinking a lot of Gruner, probably not since our last show, which is hundreds ago. Maybe one other. We're starting to get into that season, though it definitely doesn't look like it outside. This is really fascinating. I've actually heard very mixed reviews on this, and so to see how awesome it is, the complexity factor is overwhelming. I'm excited. I'm hoping you're getting value out of this show. My passion for people learning and trying different things is unparalleled, and I hope you're enjoying, and thank you so much for watching, because this is a really solid show in a category. I get so Ribolla Gialla, I was so passionate about. We went like 1 for 4. I mean, we've had it a couple times. To have a real good come out is really exciting to me, and really the Gruner Veltliner, it's a category. We may do a show on the other 3 or 4. We have about 15 in stock. I'm going to do another show probably pretty quickly, because on the way they showed today, definitely disappointed with the Meinhardt, but I think there's more coming in that direction. Pretty serious show today. I mean, it was really like laser sharp, no silliness. You can watch the silliness on the links below from the draft. Question of the day, and I love this because I know a lot of people are going to answer, never had one. What is the best South African or Austrian white wine you've ever had? Don't lie, and lurkers, come out and answer. Because you, with a little bit of me, we're changing the wine world.